What's up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring you a manga volume review of Vagabond, Volume 1 VizBig Edition. Now, before you all ask, you're gonna probably say, like, Chibi, didn't you review Volume 1 last week? Now, as I said last week, I said I stopped at, like, at a certain point, like, somewhere around in here last week, and I didn't really review the entire volume because there's so much information. And also, the main reason why I did not review the entirety of the VizBig Edition was because Volume 2 has yet to come in. I'm still waiting for Volume 2 of the VizBig edition of Vagabond. Now, the Amazon Prime section where I can order VizBigs of Vagabond is out of stock, so I had to order from, like, a third party on Amazon, which could take up to, like, 3 fucking weeks to get here, and I went to Right Stuff to see if they have it. They are also out of stock just like Amazon, so I was like, fuck. So, yeah, I tried to hold off on reviewing the entire VizBig of Volume 1 last week because I was certain that Volume 2 wouldn't be here, and, well, it's still not here. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to review VizBig Volume 2 next week. So I'm just letting you all know that. I'm pre-warning you right now. So anyways, let's begin this review. Let's talk about the sections of the volume I read, the final part of this volume. Let me see where I stopped at. I pretty much stopped at, about, like, I'm pretty close to where it was. Give me just a second. Let me find it. Right here. I stopped here last week, right when, you know, our main male character took up the name Miyamoto Musashi. That's when he took up that name. That's where I stopped last week, and I decided to continue on a couple hours ago. Reread it a couple times just to make sure I got everything, and quite a lot of content. Even though it's just that, I guess that's an entirety of a volume. Still quite the read because there's just so much going on in this little segment. So yeah, the main point of this little part of the VizBig volume is kind of our main male character Musashi challenging the Yoshioka school. I think that's how you say it, Yoshioka school. So, yeah, our main male character, Musashi, is challenging that school, and he's wanting to become still invincible under the sun. He still wants that title, and he still wants that title very badly, but he's kind of learned his lesson since, you know, the beginning of this VizBig volume, and he wants to challenge the strongest sword fighter in the city. And right now he takes place and he's trying to fight, you know, the dojo, you know, Yoshioka school. He's trying to fight the strongest dude of the dojo and, you know, be the strongest in that town. And that's kind of what the main plot of this final part of the VizBig is. But it's still very, very entertaining because there's a lot going down. But before I get into some certain details with the fights and what was going down towards the end, I just want to say Matahachi. Matahachi makes an appearance at the end of this volume, and pardon me if you are a Matahachi fan. If you're a big fan of that character and you fucking love him, maybe he is an amazing character, maybe 5 volumes down the road. I have no idea. But from what I have seen of Matahachi in this VizBig volume, he is a worthless sack of shit. That is what Matahachi is. From what I have seen as a reader of just Volume 1, he's a worthless sack of shit. He, at the beginning of the volume, as I said last week, he left his friend to fucking die. For a woman. He was scared, he was a coward, he left his friend to die. His best friend. And then, he turns against his fiancée, he kind of breaks it off with her and gives her that bad letter, and you're thinking like, what the fuck, man? And then, even beyond that, in this, he is now just like a jobless person that is with the 2 girls he ran off with. He has a wife, the girl that he slept with when he let his friend almost get killed. We are revealed that he is now the husband of a wife that is working, I think, in a whorehouse or a pleasure house or something like that. I'm guessing it's a whorehouse. I'm assuming. And he's kind of jobless. He's just there doing jack shit. And you can see how he's kind of aged, he's let himself go, and even his own wife doesn't really respect him at the moment, and it's just like, oh my god. And eventually, as the last part of the volume progressed, you see it to how he wants the school to burn down, the Yoshioka school to burn down, because his wife, you know, doesn't really respect him anymore, and they're kind of, you know, not respecting him, because the Yoshioka school is kind of making it to where his wife doesn't like him, and showing disrespect to him, so he kind of doesn't like the school in that regard, and I'm just like, dude, you're just such a fucking crusty piece of shit. Like, oh my god, this dude was sitting there watching this, you know, guy for the dojo, and that was Musashi, our main male character. He's just sitting there watching this fight. He's like, okay, I want to charge in there, and I want to help out this dude. I want to help him out. And he was thinking this entire elaborate plan in his mind of how he was going to help out Musashi. He was unaware of who it was. He was unaware of that it was his best friend that he abandoned at the beginning of the VizBig volume. But he wanted to charge in and help this dude. And once again, he shows similar traits to what he did to his friend at the beginning of the VizBig volume. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Matahachi? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this dude left his friend once again. Even though he didn't know, he still let this dude to die. And then he goes and drinks the sake alcohol in their dojo. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this dude is so disgusting. Like, I am not a fan of him. I'm sorry. If you're a fan of him, pardon me. If you love his character, maybe he becomes amazing volumes down. But right now, he is just so bad. He's so bad because he's just a shitty friend. He's a terrible friend. Like, oh my god. I wonder what Musashi is going to do when he sees Matahachi. Like, when he sees Matahachi, I'm willing to bet he's going to beat the shit out of him. Like, he really should, because he's a worthless bastard. I mean, he's not even working. He's having his wife work. I mean, he's also having them run a whorehouse. He's kind of lazy. Abandons his friend a second time. Breaks off his marriage with his fiance like he did through that letter. Just, yeah. I gotta say it. Like, what the fuck? Okay, so now that I got past that, let's get into some details when it comes to the fight of this ending volume. Very simple, actually, what I have to state, because mainly when it came to majority of this last part, it was kind of fighting. It was fighting, and it was deep, but not deep at the exact same time. Hopefully you understand where I'm going with that. But it was very fun to read. It was very fun to read, especially getting to see the way the art style was done, which the art style will be a different segment later on down this review. So, when it came to the fighting, you have it to where our main male character, Musashi, challenges the Yoshioka school. And he wants to become the strongest swordsman. He wants to become very strong, and so he challenges them. And as you see, he challenges them. He is doing incredibly well. Like, they underestimate him at first, and he beats the shit out of everybody. Like, he crushes their skull in with a wooden sword, and I'm like, bro, oh my god, like, he crushes their skull in, and you just see him hit the floor and all that, and then they realize they're fucking with the wrong dude, and they need to be serious, and eventually the big guys come out, and one of the main heads come out, or the little brother of the head of the school comes out, and starts fighting our main male character, which in turn leads it to where the duel ends in a draw, or it's postponed for another day, which I'll go into some details with that in just a second. So the main moral issue of this last segment of the VizBig volume is that the two brothers of this Yoshioka school are kind of different. Like, they're very, very different. You have the older brother that kind of looks like the younger brother, and you have the younger brother that looks like the older brother. He's more built and buffed up, and he looks like he would be the proper master of the dojo, and it's very ironic how they're kind of different, like they're opposites, and, you know, each should have switched roles. Like, one should be the head, one should not be the head, but even though they're the head, they shouldn't be the head, so forth, so on. You get what I'm getting at. And when we find out that the main head of this Yoshioka school is kind of just a lazy oaf that doesn't really care. Like, he was going to the pleasure house and just not giving a shit about the dojo at all. And you have it to where his younger brother is actually caring. He's trying to take up, you know, the mantle and protect the school. I like that. I like getting to see the little conflicts between that. And I wonder if that dude is going to die, if the dude that Musashi fought at the end of this volume is going to die, because they said that they're going to fight to the death, like they're going to have a rematch and they will fight to the death. I wonder if the dude's going to die, because I'm liking the dude's character, the way he respected his men, because you see how he really cared about his fellow men that was in his dojo. 5 men that died thanks to Musashi crushing their skulls in, which it was an honest dojo fight. I mean, you really can't say he's a murderer. I mean, you can, but it was an honest dojo fight. They knew what was going to happen. They didn't take it seriously. They got their skulls knocked in. So, yeah. I just hope the dude that was, you know, the like younger brother of the Yoshioka school doesn't die, because I'm actually liking his character, and he might be a very good character later on, because I don't know what direction Vagabond is going to take. Like, I really don't know what the main end game of this. Like, so far, the main goal I see is just our main male character wanting to become invincible under the sun. So I guess the strongest swordsman, which is cool and all, but I wonder what steps he's going to have to take to become this. Like, he's going to have to, of course, topple this dojo and probably become the new head. Like, I think, if I know Japan well enough, like, don't quote me on it, don't, you know, think this is 100% accurate, because I could be wrong, But if I'm correct, when one challenges a dojo, or, you know, a sword school, stuff like this, what we see going on at the end of this volume, doesn't it, if the dude beats the clan head or the head of that dojo, doesn't he gain ownership of the dojo? Because I remember Netero from Hunter x Hunter did that, and he became, like, the leader of a dojo. I wonder if it's like that. If it's like that, I see what Musashi's going to be doing. He's going to be conquering dojo after dojo to where he becomes, like, the one true head, I guess, of Japan. I guess that's a possible goal. I guess that's what's going to be going on. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to point out when it came to this, I read the ending segment of this volume. It's like the author's comments about the series, and of course this VizBig is actually a total of 3 volumes, because it says right here in the author comments. The author states, I'm not going to say it word for word, but he kind of goes into detail, like, there's different types of manga, and mainly a lot of people like informational type manga, like manga that gives you details of how to cook, how to fight, martial arts, stuff like that. You know, manga you can read, but actually gives you real information that you could get from, like, information books, and major important books when it comes to school and stuff like that. And the manga talks about how people like informational manga, but he says that this manga is not really informational, it's mainly just meant for entertainment. So from what I can get from what the author is stating, is that this is going to take its own route, not exactly similar to what really happened to Miyamoto Musashi in the real course of history. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that how this is taking its own route, so I can enjoy the ride and not have to worry about really being spoiled if I was to read the history of Musashi. So once again, another props to the author. I'm really liking the way he's taking the story. It's really cool, so I wonder what type of history changes that he's going to have. Now, the artwork of this is fucking ridiculous. Like, let me find a panel. There's a specific, yeah, like, this is a really good panel right here. Like, look at this panel. Look at that panel. You see that? Look at that. That looks so freaking, oh my god, dude. Like, some of the artwork in this is just so damn good. Like, oh, this was the panel where I'm like, oh, bro. Like, yo, the fucking artwork. Like, look at that. Look at that, dude. That artwork is, oh my god, dude. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And once again, I have to bring up the detail I said in my last volume review, or, you know, this volume review. This is kind of part 2 of that volume review. The character designs are just so on point, spot on. I mean, the character designs so far, man, are so impressive. Like, I have to say, they're probably going to beat Berserk, or they might already have beaten Berserk. The way the characters are drawn is beautiful. It's just so fucking beautiful. And I love it. I love getting to see characters the way they look like that, especially with how realistic they look, how Asian they look. It looks so natural. And that's about it. I mean, I think I've discussed everything I need to discuss. It's really important. Oh yeah, actually, one thing I do want to mention. This is very important, actually. A very important detail I do need to mention. Our main male character, Musashi, his father, at one point in time, challenged the former head, like the original creator of this Yoshioka school. His father did, and beat the main head that founded the school. Musashi's father did. And that's kind of ironic, because Musashi's wanting to do the exact same thing that his father did. So, yeah. That's pretty cool. I like that. Like father, like son. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it came to this volume review of Vagabond. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You'll have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.